What's up, I'm Jack, welcome into the LFC Transfer Room. Today's video is an opposition preview ahead of Liverpool's match against West Ham in the Premier League. Joining the channel today is Roshane of The Athletic to give some insight with Chris Stonage on what to expect from the Hammers on Sunday. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get into things. Coming off of a 2-2 draw against Genk in the Europa League, West Ham are actually in a pretty good spot and feeling themselves very, very confident in a lot of aspects. I'm going to toss it over to my good friend Chris Stonage, who spoke to Roshane Thomas to get some insight into West Ham.
Thank you very much, Jack. And we are joined by The Athletic UK's West Ham United correspondent, Roshane Thomas. How are you, Roshane? You okay?
I'm all good, Chris. Yourself?
I'm good. I really hope I pronounced your name right, by the way. I am terrible.
Spot on.
But yeah, so first of all, mate, we'll just have a chat about West Ham United this season. Obviously, they're on a high from a great season last season, and it seems to be carrying on.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a feel-good factor at West Ham right now. Pretty much on from last season, really. They only missed out on top four by 2 points, of course. So that's what enabled West Ham to qualify for Europa League. But previously on the West Ham, there's always been like good spells of momentum, but for the occasional fan, it's been like, yeah, this won't last. Probably 2 months tops, and then we'll go back to being crap again. Whereas under David Moyes, it's lasted for such a long time that it shows no sign of ending, really. So yeah, for sure, long may it continue. You've seen some great players do well, the likes of Jared Bowen, Declan Rice, of course, Aaron Cresswell, Tonio, Fornal. It's been fantastic. You see right now on the weekly basis, the team, they're all fighting for one another. Yeah, great culture staff. So yeah, for sure, it's been a great season so far for West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have a chat about David Moyes. I mean, a lot of people came when he returned to the club for a second spell, sort of looked at it maybe a step backwards, but he's certainly taken the club to another level.
He's proved a lot of people wrong so far, Chris. Honestly, because you know what, I was having a look at the replies from when the club announced his return as manager, and people are saying, "What on earth are you doing? The club's going backwards. Like, you guys are idiots. What are you?" I'm thinking, my goodness. And obviously now look, he transformed himself as a manager, of course, and obviously transformed the club. And I think one of the big reasons why a lot of supporters were unsure about David Moyes' return is it didn't work out for him at Sociedad. It didn't work out for him at Sunderland or Man United. And I think that experience has made him better as a manager. I really do. I think he's come back even more determined now. He's evolved as a manager. I was speaking to Alan Irvin from a big read on Moyes ahead of his 1,000th managerial game tonight, and he was saying the biggest change in Moyes has been man management. So obviously, when you think about West Ham, it's a club where, you know, players tend to complain to the media about how they feel, but notice how not one player, whether it be fringe player or starting players, complain about anything at West Ham. You haven't seen anything like that. It's just been positive. Everyone talking about togetherness, the team bonding, and for sure, that's definitely down to David Moyes. Even after the Carabao Cup win against Man City via penalty shootout, I asked Pep, you know, what's your thoughts on West Ham right now? And in short, he said, fantastic team and fantastic manager. And I think that's the biggest compliment David Moyes could receive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of tactically how David Moyes is set up this season, how has he gone about it, and how is West Ham playing?
It's mainly been a 4-2-3-1 formation. So back four, Aaron Cresswell, Kurt Zouma, Ogbonna, now Ben Johnson, he's taking over from Savard, and then you got Thomas Solchek and Declan Rice in the middle, and we got Fornals, Ben Rama, Bowen, who play behind Antonio, who leads the line. So that tends to be the starting lineup, and yeah, for sure, it's been really good. I think one of the most entertaining games so far was the 4-2 win. I think it was a 4-2 win. The 4-2 win season opener at Newcastle, entertaining match. And the thing is, right, quite often West Ham's on TV now, or live on Sky or BT Sports, so people are getting value for the money because there's a lot of goals in games. For example, last week is a great example, the 4-1 win over Aston Villa. So even in nature, if you're watching West Ham right now, you want to tune in because things are going so great. So for sure, long may it continue. And the thing is, we always had the option to revert to our impact system. We saw that last season. So for example, when Thomas Solchek came off against Everton, he brought on Kate Dawson and went to a back three. So it's nice to see West Ham have that in their locker where they can play different formations and obviously still do very well.
Yeah, it just seems like a really good vibe at West Ham at the moment. As you mentioned, do you think that that's probably played into the fact they're doing so well, the fact that they're enjoying their football?
Well, that's definitely the right word to use, pal. Good vibes. That's what you think of right now for West Ham. Good vibes. And obviously, it's all down to a winning mentality that David Moyes, the coach staff, are forcing into this team. They're going to big matches knowing they can win. So again, I'll use the examples of a Carabao Cup victories against Man United and Man City. The average fans thinking there's no way we're going to beat those teams. And what do West Ham do? And bear in mind, it's not even a full strength team. So you don't have Antonio, you don't have Declan Rice, and yet still able to pull off good victories against Man City and Man United. So everyone values their place in the team. We really do, and I think that stems from the training ground, whether it's double sessions or if you're not on it, then you're not going to be in the team. And players don't take their place in the team for granted. So, for example, not to say he didn't take his place for granted, but with Adam Safar suffering an injury, you get Ben Johnson coming in and doing so good to the point where you're thinking, damn, I don't even know if Safar can get back into the team. That's what I mean when players just want to seize the opportunity and do well. And obviously, all down to David Moyes. It really is, because he's taking that club to a next level now. Bear in mind, when he took over, his task was to keep the club up, which obviously he did when he replaced Pellegrini. And then since then, West Ham will qualify for Europe in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. We've seen recruitment improve. Jared Bowen, Thomas Solchek, Craig Dawson, great backroom star Paul Nevin, Kevin Nolan, Billy McKinley, Stuart Pearce. It's a feel-good factor right now at West Ham that I see no sign of ending anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Jared Bowen as a player who Liverpool fans have taken note of a lot this summer. He was linked heavily with the Reds as well. The Athletics' James Pearce linked it as well. Do you think that he has the capability to play at the top level? And I'd love to hear you say yes, because he's from my hometown.
Okay, what, from Hereford? You're from Hereford as well, right?
Yeah, from Hereford. Yeah, originally. Yeah.
Wicked. Well, first of all, I must say it's not Jared Bowen, it's Arjen Bowen. That's the
Bowen,
It's Arjen Bowen. That's what West Ham fans call him, Arjen Bowen. A deserved nickname, of course. But yeah, for sure, I definitely think he can play at the top of West Ham, of course. That's definitely what he can do, because he's been doing great. 3 goals, 3 assists in 9 appearances so far this season. Well, we're recording the show 6:11, and in just under 3 hours, the England squad will be announced. And I'll be surprised if we don't see Bowen in that squad, in honesty. You've got Jack Grealish, obviously, he's an important player for Gareth Southgate, of course, but he hasn't been in great form. Sancho can't get into the team, unfortunately, at Man United. And you've got Lingard, who's also been a bit of a bit-part player at Man United. So I'll be surprised if I don't see Jared Bowen in that squad. I know you got people like Emil Smith-Rowe, Callum Hudson-Odoi, young up-and-coming players who could potentially get in ahead of Bowen. But listen, he's been consistent this season. He's been consistent. And the thing about Bowen, a lot of West Ham fans will agree, the one part of this game he needed to improve on is finishing. He's got the work ethic, he's got the determination. It's just finishing that he needs to improve on, become a regular, more of a consistent goal scorer. Because in my opinion, there's no reason why he can't score double figures this season. He's that talented. So listen, I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him, because as you mentioned, being from Hereford, non-league to where he is now, I'm potentially on the brink of an England call-up. It's been great to see. So hopefully he continues his form for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of West Ham's biggest strength to maybe exploit Liverpool's biggest weakness, how do you think West Ham will exploit potentially any weaknesses in this Liverpool team?
So I look at Liverpool right now, and I think fantastic team, great defense, great attacking trio of Firmino, Mane, and Salah. But I look at that midfield and I think West Ham have a better midfield, in my opinion, because you guys will have Jordan Henderson, Harry Keita, but I think he's injured right now. And Fabinho, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Fabinho's just come back, and Thiago's just come back as well.
I look at that, I think, it's a solid midfield, but you don't really have many goal-scoring midfielders in the middle of the park. I look at Declan Rice and how he's elevated this game. We'll look at last week, for example, in a 4-1 win against Aston Villa, scoring from distance. He has that as a lockout, driving runs from midfield has been a regular theme as well under him. And you got Thomas Solchek, hasn't really been able to show that goal-scoring form so far this season, but look, he's still capable of scoring from set pieces. He will still be a bully in the middle of the pit. So I think that's one area that West Ham look to exploit for sure, because, as I mentioned, I think West Ham have a better midfield.
Yeah, and I'm going to flip that question round. What can Liverpool exploit from West Ham's potentially biggest weaknesses?
I think, mate, can't exploit anything from West Ham power. No, I don't think at all. Let me have a think. Because the thing is, the team's been so solid. You can't really find an obvious weakness, because great at defending set pieces, solid in defense. The team don't really make that many mistakes. So, and the thing is, Fabianski's been great as a goalkeeper. He's been faultless almost, because he pulled off so many good saves, and he's got pressure from Areola. So I can't really think of one area I think Liverpool should target that, because the team's been so great this season. I know that's sort of like a meter trained answer, but honestly, I can't think of one weakness.
It's brilliant. I don't think we've had one of them yet, especially from that. That's brilliant. So in terms of how you think the game will go, in terms of the patterns, the way that the game will sort of flow, will it be high scoring? Will it be a little bit of a stalemate? Liverpool have got a good record at the London Stadium, but do you think it could be the time now that West Ham could go and beat them?
Well, I wrote a big piece on Moyes, right, ahead of his 1,000th game tonight against Genk. And I spoke to Wayne Rooney, and he was saying right now teams will pretty much dread playing West Ham. And I definitely agree. I reckon Jurgen Klopp thinking, I could do about West Ham this weekend. I could really do about facing them. And I think it'll end in a draw. I think this match will end in a draw. If West Ham could beat Liverpool, my goodness, that would be fantastic, of course. Bear in mind, international break, feel good factor once more. But I think it'll head into a draw. 2-2 draw is what I reckon. I reckon there'll be goals in this game. But with the belief right now at West Ham that they can pull off an upset, the players won't go into this match thinking, we'll hopefully, maybe nick a point or hopefully just about get a draw. I think they'll be comfortable and back themselves to get a win. But yeah, I reckon it'll end in a 2-2 draw for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really exciting game, and the best of luck with it. We'll pass back over to Jack for the tactical analysis now.
Thanks, Roshane, and to Chris for doing that interview. Some really good insight there. So before we jump into what we could expect lineup-wise, some team news. Liverpool had the unfortunate news that Roberto Firmino out for a long-term hamstring injury after going on at halftime against Atletico Madrid. That's going to be a pretty big loss. Joe Gomez not available, Curtis Jones not available, Naby Keita and Harvey Elliott as well, potential long-term omissions. So there are two players returning, so let's look at what lineup we could potentially see. So you have the 4-3-3 of Liverpool against the 4-2-3-1 of David Moyes' West Ham side. So I think that when you look at the contrasting of the two sides, the midfield is going to be the battle that Roshane mentioned it himself, with Fabinho and Thiago potentially coming back. Those are going to be really big additions to the side, and which will really help them try and battle the midfield area. Not in his 41 jersey, but Declan Rice, a big performer for West Ham, had Mark Noble partnering him against Genk. Interesting how that matchup happens there. Mikel Antonio will likely lead the line for West Ham alongside Ben Rama and Bowen, who will operate in the flanks. Fornals could play through the 10. So they have a lot of good attacking options. Liverpool, though, if they were to play their strongest front three, it would be limited to Mane, Jota, Salah. So this really does raise questions once AFCON comes around. If Firmino's injury lasts months, not weeks, potentially Liverpool might need to dip into the market in January to add another forward, because as things stand, you're looking at Takumi Minamino, Divock Origi as your next best options off the bench for your forwards. It's going to be a good match. Liverpool had a lot of success against West Ham, especially away from home. So it's going to be a good one. I'm interested in how the back line faces up. Could it be Kostas Tsimikas? Could it be Andrew Robertson? I think Tsimikas was very, very good against Atletico. I'd be interested if Klopp gives Robertson another chance before the international break. So this is the last match for teams break away for international play. Let us know your thoughts on the potential lineups for Liverpool and for West Ham and what you expect to see from the match in the comments down below. Thanks again to Roshane and for Chris for producing that really good interview. I've been Jack for LFC Transfer. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for all the live and pre-recorded content that you need for Liverpool Football Club. Have a good rest of your day.